Hey everyone, Mika here from Calcum Educator Sub again for the fourth video of our concept car series using Fusion to design our this year's concept cars. Hopefully you've enjoyed it so far, but the fun hasn't quite kicked off as it will quite yet. In the last video we just covered how to use a canvas and use it in a way along with your form dimensions in a way that you don't mess up your dimensions, and so that when you finish your model you don't find out that it's the wrong proportions, etc, etc. I also said that it's probably better if you have time to draw your profiles from scratch so that you can then import them into Fusion as canvases and make something even more unique. The first thing, I'm going to cover two things in this video. The first thing I'm going to cover is symmetry, and the second is basic modification of your form. Using symmetry is pretty basic. It's something you should probably do unless your car is asymmetrical. If so, awesome, do it. I prefer not to. I'm not that creative. I'm not that clever, so I didn't do that. So I'll press on the symmetry tool here, the mirror, and I will click on one face and the face I want to mirror onto, and it will select a line here that goes around the entire form, which should be okay. So let's click OK, and now whenever we edit one side it will do the same to the other side. So I want to start modeling the profile of my car. Personally, I like to start with the side profile because it's the easiest to visualize in terms of projection. The front, because it's flat and you can't really see through, is you can't really model that as easy. So I like starting from the side. So I'm just going to hide everything except for the side view. Click on the view cube on the right side and just kind of analyze where it's probably best to start. I like to start with this front bit here because it seems pretty simple to model. So let's do that. So what do? I press on this tool here, the edit form tool. It's also over here too. And you want to click on the face or multiple faces, and then you find this multi-purpose tool come up here. You can also see it here. You can change it to just show one element. I like to use a multi-one, but if your screen's small or you just have difficulty snapping your mouse or your trackpad to one of these, then do so by doing this. These tools here are the translation tools, and so it's this one too. So the X and Y. Obviously this extends into 3 dimensions, but that's not quite important yet. We have these lines here in this curve. So this line scales it in the X, scales it in the Y, scales it in the XY. And then this rotation tool here, which obviously again also goes that way too, will rotate your face and move the form accordingly. So let's try and make this profile. I'm going to try and select these two faces here, and maybe these two here too, and those two. Let's do that. Let's start quite big. And let's use the rotation tool to try and bend this form. So you can see, as I bend it, the bottom of it, the part that I haven't even selected, also bends, gets connected as well. It wouldn't just go and fire off. It's a form, so it works a bit differently. And you can see as I turn it, the bottom face here also sort of deforms. You want to be careful at this point because if you do go too far, you get some interesting things going on. Some impossible geometry. I'll make a whole video about this and how to avoid it and what to do to prevent this happening. Yes, so you want to use these tools in moderation. Use them in small amounts, in small increments, and always check if it works. This scaling tool here is quite useful. You can kind of squash your profile. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Right, let's try and do some different faces and sort of make the shape a bit more accurate. So maybe let's do this, bring it down once more, maybe bring it out a little bit. That's a bit better. Maybe let's select these two down here now, unselect these ones, and carry on the way we went before. Yeah, so that's sort of how you use this modification tool to do a wide variety of changes to your geometry. And I'll show you how it extends into the third dimension. You can select it like this and bring it outwards, bring it inwards. If you want to make your car a bit more pointy at the front, you can do that if you want. Again, you can also scale that way too. So that's all fun and games. Most of your basic shape modelling of the car itself will be done using this tool here, and trust me, you won't really need much more than that for the basic shape, which is pretty cool, and I hope you have fun doing that. But in the next video we'll go into avoiding geometry that's impossible and what tools we can use to stop that from happening.